Coaching Assignment 1 Resub by Charlie Taylor. So, in my opinion, the most important role for an elite coach is being an innovator. This is because at an elite level, I feel like coaches have to become more creative with their set pieces and plays, which they want their team to do during their performances and competing against other challenging teams who may also be performing creative plays which are hard to defend. This is so that when they are competing against the other teams, they are using out-of-the-box movements, which will make it more difficult for the opposing team to defend, and therefore they would have more chance of having success through the plays which have been made and which they're doing against their team. In contrast to this, I feel like the innovator role of a coach wouldn't be as important at a non-elite level, because possibly at this stage there would be people who are only beginners at the sport, and therefore giving them complicated creative movements to do in plays may get them confused. And at non-elite level, instead of giving players more complicated plays, the coach should be giving them more simple yet effective plays which are easier to do and more simple to understand. A role in which I feel would be important at a non-elite level is the role of being a friend, as at this level players could be beginners, and having a coach which is also a friend means that they're able to go to their coach with any problems or questions which they may have, and wouldn't be intimidated or scared to go up to them and ask. At this level, it's more about the development of players rather than how they are playing at that point. So the coach to be a friend, it will help them with the development of the players, as they're able to trust their coaches and therefore would listen to the feedback which the coach will give them and take it on board and do something with it to make them become better players. However, I feel like a coach using the role of being a friend is not as important at elite level, because even though it is a good thing and is more professional, and it is a more professional environment, being a friend at an elite level is important. However, I feel that there are more important characteristics of a coach, such as professionalism. At an elite level, players are looking for coaches who push them to the limits and motivate them to work their hardest they can against difficult opponents throughout the season. So having a coach as a friend who would prefer to have more banter with the players, and I reckon elite players would prefer to have coaches who are more strict and are proper coaches, instead of someone who isn't trying to just have fun. So the most important responsibility, which I think is important at elite level, is professional conduct. This is because when at this level you're being seen by the media and television, and would therefore be seen in the public eye. This means that the coach would have to stay professional, as they would be setting an example for younger athletes who are also watching the media. For example, if a coach went and shouted at a ref due to a wrong decision and started swearing, that would be very wrong, as it would show younger athletes who are watching that might be the right way to do it. However, it's not. Having professional conduct isn't as important at non-elite level, because they wouldn't be seen by the public eye as much due to them not being all over the media, and therefore they don't need to set a professional example for anyone who, as non-elite teams are normally just based around local areas which don't have many people watching when performing. And at this level, it's more about the fun of the athletes instead of the professionalism of it. The most important responsibility at non-elite level, in my opinion, is equal opportunities. This is because at this level, most people are only just starting to do the sport and are beginners of it. At this level, it isn't as big as a competition as it is a lower level, and therefore a coach should be giving players the equal amount of playing time and let them have fun with it, instead of being really strict and not giving players as much game time. And also at this level, coaches shouldn't be judging players or giving players more opportunities due to silly things such as parents, money, or ability. I don't think that equal opportunities is important at elite level. It is more competitive level, and therefore coaches would try and have to play the best team that they can to make sure that they are able to compete against harder teams that they come up against. At this level, due to there being more media and public watching the team also, the coach would want to make them look like they have a good representation, which would be one of the reasons why they would be given opportunity to someone who isn't, which is why they wouldn't give an opportunity to someone who isn't as good as someone else. So next I'm going to go on to the techniques which a coach uses to try and motivate and look at the players. The 3 techniques I'm going to talk about is fitness testing, effective demonstration, and goal setting. So the first technique is fitness testing. This is when a coach tests the athlete's physical ability by doing a variety of tests. The positive of this technique is that the coach is able to keep track of the athlete's improvement by keeping the results of the tests and doing them throughout the season to see if the athlete has developed in strengths in those particular areas. In addition to this, it also makes the coach see where the athlete is at and if they are fit enough to be playing a specific amount of minutes. However, a negative of doing this fitness testing is that the variety of tests may not actually be specific to the sport or to the athlete. For example, a boxer may need to be testing on how much power their arms can produce when punching. However, the fitness tests, such as the sit and reach test, would not test this. They may also have a bad score due to them not being able to use not using their flexibility in their legs as much and more in the arms, and would therefore rate them as below average for the test. The next one is effective demonstration. This is when a coach gives the athlete or athletes a demonstration to make sure that they know exactly what they are doing and what the correct way is to do something when learning new skills or techniques. This technique can be a positive as it allows the athletes to learn how things are done correctly and would therefore reduce the risk of injury by doing any movements with the wrong technique. A negative of using this technique would be if a coach shows the athletes the wrong technique during the demonstration. For example, if a coach is showing the team a demonstration of how to do a deadlift and shows them the wrong way of doing it, such as with an arched back instead of straight, this can make it more likely for the athletes to become injured as their backs would be strained due to them thinking that was the right way to do it, however it wasn't. The last technique that I'm going to talk about is goal setting, and this is when a coach gives an athlete targets/goals which they should try and achieve to become a better player over a period of time. These goals can be short-term and long-term, and normally the short-terms are given to the athlete to help achieve the long-term goal. The positive side of using this technique is that the coach and athlete would be able to watch the progress together and set new goals which are specific to the athlete and their ability. In addition to this, it will also increase the communication between the athlete and the coach. This would therefore benefit the athlete's performance as it would give them something to work for and will increase their motivation to do better. The negative side of using the goal setting is that the athlete may get demotivated if they don't achieve the goal which was set for them in the time that they've set it. For certain athletes, this may make them feel that they are not good enough to achieve the target which has been set. In addition to this, if goals aren't set to the athlete's standards, they may be too easy for them and not challenge them, and would therefore be pointless as they wouldn't be able to develop as a player. Additionally, if the targets are too hard for the athlete and they aren't able to achieve them, they would get frustrated and would want to give up due to having the mindset of them not being able to do it and are not good enough.